nearby landmarks and their cultural background.
Hula Nature Reserve. The Hula Nature Reserve is the first nature reserve established in Israel, protecting a unique wetland ecosystem. It serves as a vital sanctuary for migratory birds traveling between Europe, Asia, and Africa. The area was once a large lake that was drained in the 1950s for agricultural development. Following ecological concerns, a portion was reflooded in the 1990s to restore the original habitat and biodiversity. Maintain a minimum altitude of 1,000 feet AGL to avoid disturbing the wildlife, especially during peak migration seasons. Look for a large, lush green wetland area surrounded by agricultural fields, featuring distinct water channels and dense reeds. Located approximately 2.5 kilometers to your south. Upon takeoff, a turn to the south will bring the reserve directly into your field of view. Use the distinct contrast between the dark water channels and the surrounding golden fields to navigate toward the center of the reserve.
Preparing all checklist reader components for operation. Beechcraft Piston Duke checklist initialized. OK, MHM.
Perform pre-flight checklist.
Pre-flight checklist, reading aloud. Pre-flight inspection, complete. Locks and covers, removed or checked. Flight controls, free or checked. Chocks, removed or as required. Cabin door, latched or closed or checked. Nose baggage door, latched or closed or checked. Weights and fuel on electronic flight bag, set or checked. Landing gear, down. Engine, avionics and electrical switches, off or set. Oxygen pressure between 1550 and 1850 pounds per square inch, checked. Circuit breakers, all in or checked. Intercooler air, off or set. Cabin pressurization shut off, open or set. Alternate static air, normal or set. Carbon monoxide detector, tested or checked. Cabin temperature mode, off or set. Flaps, up or set. Propeller synchronizer, off or set. Throttles, closed or set. Propellers, high RPM or set. Mixtures, full rich or set. Trims, centered or checked or set. Fuel selectors, on or set. Pre-flight checklist complete. The before engine start checklist would be next on the list.
Perform after engine start checklist.
After engine start checklist, reading aloud. Boost pumps on when ambient above 32 degrees Celsius, checked. Exterior and interior lights, set or as required. Weather radar, standby or set or off or as required. Avionics, on or set. Inverter, main or set. Inverter light extinguished or checked. Cabin temperature mode, set or as required. Mixtures leaned for taxi, set or as required. Navigation, set. Transponder, mode Charlie or altitude or set. After engine start checklist complete. The following one appears to be the run-up checklist.
Perform before takeoff checklist.
Before takeoff checklist, reading aloud. Flaps, approach or set or as required. Trims, set. Mixtures set for maximum power, set. Engine and battery temperatures, checked. Battery charge light extinguished or checked. Boost pumps, on or set. Air conditioning, off or set. Weather radar, standby or set or off or on or as required. Ice protection panel, set. Lighting, set. Before takeoff checklist complete. The climb checklist would be next on the list.
Perform climb checklist.
Climb checklist, reading aloud. Gear and flaps, up. Engine instruments, checked. Propeller synchronizer, on or off or set or as required. Lights, on or set or as required. Boost pumps, off or on or set or as required. Cabin temperature mode, set. Cabin altitude, differential, and climb, checked. Climb checklist complete. The cruise checklist would be next on the list.
Hula Nature Reserve. The Hula Nature Reserve is the Banias Waterfall. The Banias Waterfall is the largest waterfall in Israel, located within the Banias Nature Reserve. It is fed by the Hermon River and is surrounded by lush vegetation and ancient ruins. The site was historically known as Caesarea Philippi, a city dedicated to the god Pan. Archaeological remains include a temple built by Herod the Great and later expanded by his son Philip. Maintain a safe altitude above the gorge to avoid downdrafts near the cliffs. Always adhere to local minimum safe altitude requirements. Look for a
Kfar
distinct,
Hammam
deep
is a
green
small
canyon
village
cutting through
located in the
terrain
Arqib
with a
region in the
visible
Hasber
white
district
plume
in
of
southern
water
Lebanon,
cascading
which
down the
lies on
rock
the
face.
eastern side of the
At
Nabatean
your current
Governorate.
heading of
Kfar
19
Hammam is
degrees
bounded
and
by a village from the
155 knots
south,
ground speed.
Heberai
The
village
waterfall
from
is
the north,
located to your right
Kfar
at
Chauba from the
approximately 2
east,
o'clock.
and Rat
You will
Sher Al
reach the
Falka
vicinity
from the
in about
west.
1.5
It is within
minutes.
17 kilometers
Follow
away
the
from
Hermon River
Beirut
Valley
and
northwards
around
for a scenic
1850
route
meters
that
above
highlights the
sea level,
dramatic change in
according to the
topography
latest
from the valley
electoral
floor
lists.
to the Golan
The
Plateau.
populace of the village today is about 3,500, of which only a very small minority reside in the village. The village, as a strategic location in the Hermon Mountains of Lebanon, as it overlooks the Upper Galilee of Israel and is very close to the Golan Heights and the Shippa Farms. Its importance also lies in the fact that it's very close to an intersection of the borders of 3 countries, those being Lebanon, Israel, and Syria.
Banias Nature Reserve. Banias is a lush nature reserve featuring the largest waterfall in the region and the ancient ruins of Caesarea Philippi. It is fed by one of the main sources of the Jordan River. The site was once a center for the worship of the Greek. Majdal Shams. Majdal Shams is the largest Druze town in the Golan Heights Nestled on the slopes of Mount Hermon, it is known for its distinct cultural heritage and terraced agricultural landscape. The town has a long history of Druze settlement, maintaining traditional customs and architecture. It has been a focal point of regional transitions and remains a vibrant community today. Avoid low-level flight directly over populated areas to minimize noise disturbance. Ensure you maintain a safe altitude above the town's highest structures. Identify the town by its dense cluster of stone buildings built into the hillside, contrasting with the surrounding rugged terrain. With your current heading of 76 degrees, Majdal Shams is located slightly to your right. You will pass abeam the town in approximately 1.5 minutes at your current ground speed. The town provides a great visual reference for the transition from the lower plains to the steeper slopes of the Hermon Range.
Mount Hermon is a mountain cluster constituting the southern end of the Anti-Lebanon mountain range. Its summit straddles the border between Syria and Lebanon at 1814 above sea level, is the highest point in Syria. On the top, a humanitarian buffer zone between Syria and Israeli-occupied territory is the highest permanently manned UN position, known as Hermon Hotel. Located at 250 to 14 meter altitude, the southern slopes of Mount Hermon extend to the Israeli-occupied portion of the Golan Heights, where the Mount Hermon ski resort is located with a top elevation of 2,040 meters. A peak in this area rising to 2,236 m is the highest elevation in Israeli-controlled territory.
Mount Hermon. Mount Hermon is the highest mountain in the region, forming a cluster of peaks that straddle the borders of Lebanon, Syria, and Israel. It is a prominent landmark known for its snow-capped peaks during winter and its strategic importance. The mountain has been mentioned in ancient texts and holds religious significance for various cultures. Throughout the 20th century, it became a focal point of military conflict and strategic observation due to its commanding view of the surrounding plains. Be cautious of rapid weather changes and turbulence near the peaks. Always maintain a safe altitude above the terrain, as wind gusts can be significant. Look for the massive, rugged mountain massif that dominates the horizon to the northeast. It is significantly higher than all surrounding terrain and often features distinct rocky ridges. At your current altitude of 8,103 feet and heading of 31 degrees, Mount Hermon will appear to your right front. You will reach the vicinity of the main peaks in approximately 3 minutes at your current ground speed of 175 kilos. Follow the ridgeline carefully while keeping a safe distance from the slopes. The view of the Hula Valley from the southern slopes is spectacular on clear days.
Perform cruise checklist.
Cruise checklist, reading aloud. Engine instruments, checked. Ice protection, set. Fuel imbalance within 25 gallons, checked. Cruise checklist complete. Next checklist would be the descent checklist.
Mount Hermon. Mount Hermon is the highest mountain in the region, serving as a critical strategic point and a popular ski destination. Its snow-capped peaks are visible for miles, marking the border between Syria, Lebanon, and Israel. The mountain has deep historical and religious significance, often cited in ancient texts as a site of divine encounters. In modern history, it has been a focal point of military conflict due to its commanding view of the surrounding plains. Maintain a safe distance from the peak due to unpredictable mountain winds and potential military restricted airspace. Always check current NOTAMs before approaching high-altitude terrain. Look for the massive, often snow-covered limestone massif that dominates the northern horizon. The summit is distinctively rounded and stands significantly higher than any other terrain in the vicinity. At your current altitude of 10,163 feet and heading of 301 degrees, the peak will appear slightly to your right. You will reach the vicinity of the mountain in approximately 3 minutes at your current ground speed of 210 knots. Use the mountain as a primary navigation reference, but be wary of rapid weather changes that can obscure the summit in minutes.
Perform descent checklist.
Descent checklist, reading aloud. Cabin altitude, goal destination altitude, set. Navigation, set. Ice protection, set or as required. Cowl flaps, closed or set or as required. Cylinder head temperature 125 minimum with max delta of 33 Celsius per minute, affirmed. Descent checklist complete. Next checklist would be the approach checklist.
Mount Bental. Mount Bental is a dormant volcanic peak offering panoramic views of the Golan Heights and the Syrian border. It is famous for its well-preserved bunkers and military history. The site was a key defensive position during the 1973 Yom Kippur War. It features a network of trenches and bunkers that have been converted into an open-air museum. Maintain a safe altitude.
Perform approach checklist.
Approach checklist,
Mount Hermon.
reading aloud. Cabin
Mount
altitude,
Hermon is the
differential,
highest
and
point in the
rate,
region,
checked.
serving as a prominent mountain
temperature
cluster
mode,
that
off or
straddles
set.
the borders of
Fuel
Lebanon,
selectors and
Syria,
imbalance,
and Israel.
checked.
It is renowned
Lights,
for
on
its
or set or as
snow-capped peaks
required.
during winter and its
Windshield and prop
significant
heats,
ecological
off or
diversity.
set. Altimeters, set. Mixtures set for maximum power, checked or set. Flaps, approach or set or as required. Approach checklist complete. The landing checklist seems to be next.
Nimrod Fortress. Nimrod Fortress is a massive medieval castle perched on a narrow mountain ridge. It offers commanding views over the entire Hula Valley and the Golan Heights. Built by the Ayyubids in the 13th century to guard against Crusader attacks, it was later expanded by the Mamluks. It remains one of the most impressive examples of medieval military architecture in the region. The fortress sits on a high ridge. Ensure
Landing
you stay
checklist.
well clear of the
Reading
terrain
aloud.
as you pass to the south.
Gear, down.
Identify
Flaps.
the fortress
Approach or
by its
set or
prominent
down or as
stone walls
required.
and towers situated
Prop high
atop a
RPM.
sharp,
Set.
elongated mountain spur.
Prop synchronizer.
Given
off
your
or
current
set.
ground speed of
Lights,
228
on or set
knots,
or as
you will
required.
pass the fortress to your
Cabin
right in less than
differential
1
0.
minute.
Checked.
The fortress
Boost
is a
pumps,
perfect
on or
waypoint
set.
for transitioning from the high
Landing
Golan
checklist
Plateau
complete.
down toward the valley
The after
floor.
landing checklist would be next on the list.
What is this? Perform turn around checklist.
Turn around checklist. Reading aloud. Flaps. Approach or set or as required. Trims. Set. Engine instruments. Checked. Turn around checklist complete. The climb checklist would be next on the list.
Perform climb checklist.
Climb checklist, reading aloud. Gear and flaps, up. Engine instruments, checked. Propeller synchronizer, on or off or set or as required. Lights, on or set or as required. Boost pumps, off or on or set or as required. Cabin temperature mode, set. Cabin altitude, differential, and climb, checked. Climb checklist complete. Next checklist might be the climb checklist.
The Jordan River or River Jordan, also known as Nahr al-Shariat, is a 251-kilometre-long river in the Middle East that flows roughly north to south through the Sea of Galilee and onto the Dead Sea. Jordan and the Golan Heights border the river to the east, while the West Bank and Israel lie to its west. Both Jordan and the West Bank take their names from the river. The river holds major significance in Judaism and Christianity since the Bible says that the Israelites crossed it into the Promised Land and that Jesus of Nazareth was baptized by John the Baptist in it. The Hula Valley is an agricultural region in northern Israel with abundant fresh water, which used to be Lake Hula. Prior to its draining, it is a major stopover for birds migrating along the Syrian-African Rift Valley between Africa, Europe, and Asia. Lake Hula and the marshland surrounding it were a breeding ground for mosquitoes carrying malaria, and so were drained in the
Banias
1950s. A small
The Banias
section of the
waterfall
valley
is the
was later
largest
reflooded
waterfall
in an
in Israel,
attempt to
located
revive a
within the
nearly
Banias Nature
extinct
Reserve.
ecosystem.
It is fed
An
by the
estimated
Hermon
500
River
million
and is
migrating
surrounded by
birds
lush
now pass
vegetation and
through the
ancient
Hula Valley
ruins.
every year.
The site was historically known as Caesarea Philippi, a city dedicated to the god Pan. It has been a site of religious significance since the Hellenistic period, featuring remnants of temples and ancient structures. Maintain a safe altitude above the canyon walls.
Hula Nature Reserve. This is the first nature reserve established in Israel, serving as a critical stopover for millions of migrating birds. The area was once a vast lake and swamp before being drained in the 1950s, with a portion later restored to preserve the unique ecosystem. The Hula Valley was historically a wetland area until a massive drainage project was completed in 1958 to create agricultural land. Following ecological concerns, a section was reflooded in the 1990s to restore the original habitat, which is now a globally significant site for ornithology. Maintain a safe altitude above the reserve to avoid disturbing migratory bird populations. Always adhere to local minimum safe altitude requirements. Look for a distinct large green wetland area surrounded by agricultural fields, featuring several interconnected ponds and water channels. At your current heading of 247 degrees and ground speed of 201 knots, the reserve will appear off your left wing in approximately 45 seconds. Use the distinct contrast between the dark water bodies and the surrounding light-colored agricultural plots as a primary navigation reference in the valley.
Hula Nature Reserve. The Hula Nature Reserve is the first nature reserve established in Israel, serving as a critical stopover for millions of migratory birds. It preserves the remnants of the Hula Lake ecosystem, which was largely drained in the 1950s. The area was once a vast swamp and lake. In the 1950s, the land was drained for agricultural development, but environmental concerns led to the restoration of this specific section to protect biodiversity. Tel Hazor. Tel Hazor is the largest archaeological site in northern Israel and a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It was once the most important city in the region during the Bronze and Iron Ages. Mentioned in the Bible and Egyptian records, Hazor was a major Canaanite city-state. Excavations have revealed massive fortifications and palaces that showcase its historical strategic importance. Ensure you remain at a safe altitude to respect the Sea of Galilee. The Sea of Galilee is the lowest freshwater lake on Earth, serving as a vital water source and a site of immense historical and religious significance. It is surrounded by rolling hills and agricultural plains.
Bethsaida, also known as Julia's, is a place mentioned in the New Testament. Julia's lay in an administrative district known as Golanitis. Historians have suggested that the name is also referenced in rabbinic literature under the epithet Sedon. According to John 1:44, Bethsaida was the hometown of the apostles Peter, Andrew and Philip. In Mark 8:22-26, Jesus reportedly restored a blind man sighted a place just outside the ancient village of Bethsaida. In Luke 9:10-11, Jesus miraculously feeds 5,000 near Bethsaida.
The city fell, and the site remained abandoned for centuries until its rediscovery in the late 1960s. Maintain a safe altitude of at least 2,000 feet AGL to avoid disturbing local wildlife and to comply with park regulations. Look for a prominent, elongated ridge shaped like a camel's hump protruding into the deep canyon of the Gamla stream. At your current heading of 141 degrees and 226 knots, the site will appear off your left wing in approximately 1.5 minutes. The deep canyons surrounding the ridge are excellent for spotting raptors. Keep a sharp lookout for thermals where birds may be circling.
The Greek Orthodox Church of the Holy Apostles, in common use simply Church of the Apostles, is the church at the centre of the Greek Orthodox Monastery of the Holy Apostles at Capernaum, standing among the ruins of ancient Capernaum near the shore of the Sea of Galilee in Israel. It is also known as simply the Greek Orthodox Church at Capernaum, to differentiate it from the Franciscan monastery standing in the southern part of Capernaum. It is sometimes named as the Church of the Seven Apostles, based on the 7 disciples mentioned in John 21, but it is actually dedicated to all the 12 apostles of Jesus.
Migdal. Migdal is a modern town located on the northwestern shore of the Sea of Galilee, built near the site of the ancient city of Magdala. It is historically significant as the birthplace of Mary Magdalene. Archaeological excavations have uncovered a well-preserved 1st century synagogue and a bustling marketplace, providing insights into Jewish life during the Second Temple period. The site has been continuously
Tugger is an area situated on the northwestern shore of the Sea of Galilee in Israel. It is traditionally accepted as the place of the miracle of the multiplication of the loaves and fishes and the fourth resurrection appearance of Jesus after his crucifixion between the late Muslim period and 1948. It was the site of a Palestinian Arab village, the critically endangered, troubled by tick, blind shrimp Typhocaris galilea is endemic to a warm sulfuric and saline spring at Tabgha, whose water is collected inside a Byzantine 4th century octagonal water tower. The shrimp is the most advanced species of a rare type of ecosystem, and the highest link in its food chain, at whose base stands a chemoautotrophic bacterium that can synthesize all necessary organic compounds using the sulfur from the spring water as its only source of energy, taking over the role played in most ecosystems by photosynthesizing plants.
Head of all the kingdoms that resisted the Israelites, observe from a distance to respect the archaeological integrity of the site. Ensure you remain clear of any restricted airspace that may be active nearby. Identify a prominent, flat-topped mound rising above the surrounding agricultural fields with visible excavation trenches and stone ruins. The site is located to your right front. At your current speed, you will pass abeam the site in roughly 1 minute. Your altitude of 2,780 ft is ideal for spotting the distinct shape of the tell. Use the nearby Rosh Pinna airstrip as a visual reference point for navigation in this sector.
What's the autopilot doing?
Command not recognized. Please try again. Please select a checklist section to continue.
Art of flaps down.
Command not recognized. Please try again. Yup.
Hula Nature Reserve. The Hula Nature Reserve is the first nature reserve established in Israel, protecting the remnants of the original Hula Lake ecosystem. It serves as a critical stopover for millions of migratory birds each year, following the drainage of the Hula Lake in the 1950s to create agricultural land. The ecological consequences were severe. The reserve was established in 1964 to preserve a small portion of the original wetland habitat. Maintain a safe altitude above 2000 ft/AGL to avoid disturbing migratory flocks. Always monitor local airspace and adhere to minimum safe altitude requirements. Look for a distinct, lush green wetland area surrounded by agricultural fields, featuring a large, partially open water body at your current altitude of 3,723 ft and heading of 355 degrees. The reserve will appear slightly to your right starboard in approximately 1.5 minutes of flight time. Use the reserve as a visual waypoint to orient yourself before turning toward the Golan Heights or continuing north along the valley.
That is a landing strip. Perform approach checklist.
Approach checklist, reading aloud. Cabin altitude, differential, and rate, checked. Cabin temperature mode, off or set. Fuel selectors and imbalance, checked. Lights, on or set or as required. Windshield and prop heats, off or set. Altimeters, set. Mixtures set for maximum power, checked or set. Flaps, approach or set or as required. Approach checklist complete. Next checklist might be the climb checklist.
Perform landing checklist.
Landing checklist, reading aloud. Gear, down. Flaps, approach or set or down or as required. Prop high RPM, set. Prop synchronizer, off or set. Lights, on or set or as required. Cabin differential 0, checked. Boost pumps, on or set. Landing checklist complete. The following one appears to be the climb checklist.
It's fierce windy.
Severe icing checklist. Ice
Stop
protection all on.
checklist.
Checklist stopped. Right.
Massive crosswind. I'll take it.
Command not recognized. Please try again. Yes, okay.
weird taxiway.
Command not recognized. Please try again. Fine.
It's probably a karting truck. Perform before takeoff checklist.
Before takeoff checklist, reading aloud. Flaps, approach or set or as required. Trims, set. Mixtures set for maximum power, set. Engine and battery temperatures, checked. Battery charge light extinguished or checked. Boost pumps, on or set. Air conditioning, off or set. Weather radar, standby or set or off or on or as required. Ice protection panel, set. Lighting, set. Before takeoff checklist complete. We are likely continuing with the climb checklist.
Massive crosswind. Perform climb checklist.
Climb checklist, reading aloud. Gear and flaps, up. Engine instruments, checked. Propeller synchronizer, on or off or set or as required. Lights, on or set or as required. Boost pumps, off or on or set or as required. Cabin temperature mode, set. Cabin altitude, differential, and climb, checked. Climb checklist complete. Next checklist might be the climb checklist.
Tel-Hazer. Tel-Hazer is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and the largest Biblical-era archaeological mound in Israel. It was once a major Canaanite city-state of immense political and economic power. Excavations have revealed layers of occupation dating back to the Bronze Age. The site is famously mentioned in the book of Joshua as the head of all those kingdoms that resisted the Israelite conquest. The site is compact. Ensure you do not descend below safe altitudes while circling to inspect the ruins. Monitor your vertical speed closely closely during this approach phase. Identify a large, flat-topped artificial hill rising abruptly from the surrounding plain, characterized by exposed stone excavation trenches. Given your current position and 323-degree heading, Tel Hazer is located to your right. You will pass being the site in roughly 1 minute. The mound is easily spotted against the flatter valley floor. Use it as a waypoint to orient yourself before turning toward the northern end of the valley. Arbel National Park. Mount Arbel offers dramatic vertical cliffs overlooking the Sea of Galilee. The site
Khalat El
features
Hamra,
ancient
or
cave
Khalat
dwellings
Hamra,
and
is a ravine or wadi
historic
joining the larger
fortress
Wadi
carved
Yaram
directly
located
into the
1
rock
kilometre
face.
southeast
The
of
caves were
Ain
used as
Ebel
a
in the Bint
defensive
Jebel
stronghold
district of
by
Nabati
Jewish
Governorate.
rebels. During
In
the Roman
Lebanon, a
period,
heavy Mesolithic archaeological
remains
site of the
include a synagogue
Karayan
from the
culture
4th
was
century,
discovered by
located at the
Jesuit
base of the cliff.
archaeologist
Be
Paul
mindful of
Bouvier Lapierre in
downdrafts near the cliff
1908.
edge,
It was
especially
located
with the
to the
current
south of a
23
track that
kT
leads from
wind
Ain
from the
Ebel's Bint
northwest.
Jebel
Keep
at
a
around
respectful
700
distance
metres
from the
above sea
vertical
level.
rock walls.
Bouvier Lapierre
Identify
considered
the sharp,
several of the
sheer cliff
axes
face
found
that
to be
dropped
Chelian, with one
abruptly toward the Sea of
exceptionally
Galilee.
large and
The
finally
contrast
made
between the
Achillean
flat
chopper.
plateau top
Henry
and the
Flesch
steep descent is
reevaluated
very clear
the
from the air.
materials
Given your
in
current
light of more
position and
modern
heading of
studies and noted the
282
find to be
degrees,
only
Arbel is
sparsely
located to your
Achillean,
right front.
with the
You should have an
assemblage
excellent
consisting
view
of
of the cliff
predominantly
face as
abundant
you
heavy
continue
Neolithic
your current
tools
flight
of
path.
the
Follow the
Karayan culture.
shoreline of the Sea of Galilee northward to easily locate the Arbel Cliffs. It serves as a perfect transition point between the lake and the lower Galilee hills.
Nahal Betsit, Arabic Wadi Kalkara, is a once perennial and now intermittent stream in the Upper Galilee, Israel. Most of it is part of the nature reserve named for the stream. The stream crosses the border from Lebanon into Israel between Isaichula and Zaret and flows westward, emptying into the Mediterranean Sea south of Rosh HaNikra. The stream runs along the geological fault line through dolomite and limestone and is fed along its course
Mount
by
Meron.
springs.
Mount
Currently,
Meron is the
Mekarot,
highest
the
peak in
national
the
water
Galilee
company,
region,
pumps the
rising
water of
to
the stream springs.
1,208 meters above sea level. It is a protected nature reserve known for its unique Mediterranean woodland and diverse flora. The mountain has been a site of pilgrimage for centuries, particularly during the festival of Lag BaOmer. It holds significant religious importance in Jewish tradition, with the tomb of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai located on its slopes. Maintain a safe altitude above the peak to avoid turbulence caused by mountain waves. Always adhere to local airspace regulations and minimum safe altitude requirements. Look for the most prominent, highest forested peak in the area. It stands out significantly from the surrounding lower
Ajziv is an
hills and
ancient
valleys.
site on the
Your current
Mediterranean
heading
coast of northern Israel,
258 degrees.
between the border with Lebanon
Ground
and the
speed
city of Acre.
199
It is located
ft.
13.5
This peak will be
kilometers north of
located off
Acre
your
on the
right
coast of the
wing. You will
Mediterranean
pass
Sea,
between this
within the
landmark in
municipal area of
approximately 2
Naharia.
minutes.
Today
Use
it is
the
an
peak
Israeli
as a
national
primary
park.
navigation
Excavations
reference
have
for
unearthed a
orientation.
fortified
In the northern
Canaanite
Galilee,
city
the
of the
surrounding
2nd
terrain
millennium
drops off sharply,
BCE.
making
The
it a clear
Phoenician town
visual
of the
waypoint.
1st millennium BCE is known both from the Hebrew Bible and Assyrian sources. Phoenician Ajziv went through ups and downs during the Persian and Hellenistic periods. In early Roman times, the town was a road station. The Border Pilgrim mentions it in 333-334 CE still as a road station. There is no information about settlement at the site during the early Muslim period. The Crusaders built a new village with a castle there. During the Mamluk and Ottoman periods, a modest village occupied the old archaeological mound. This village was depopulated during the 1948 Arab-Israeli War. The only permanent resident of VATSIM is an Israeli micronationalist who has been welcoming visitors who legally disputed micronation of Aksivland, a small stretch of beach where he has lived since 1975.
Tel Kabri is a significant archaeological site containing the remains of a Middle Bronze Age palace. It is known for its unique Minoan-style wall paintings. Excavations have revealed a large urban center that flourished during the Bronze Age. The site provides rare evidence of cultural exchange between the Levant and the Aegean world. Ensure you remain at a safe altitude to avoid disturbing the site or violating local noise regulations. Keep a sharp lookout for other light aircraft in the vicinity. Look for a distinct, slightly elevated mount covered in vegetation, situated in the agricultural plains east of the coastal road. It stands out from the surrounding flat fields. Given your current heading of 260 degrees, the site is located slightly to your right and will be abeam. Your position in less than a minute. Adjust your view accordingly. This site is a great waypoint for transitioning from the inland hills toward the coast. Use the nearby agricultural patterns to help orient your position.
Perform descent checklist.
Descent checklist, reading aloud. Cabin altitude, goal destination altitude, set. Navigation, set. Ice protection, set or as required. Cowl flaps, closed or set or as required. Cylinder head temperature 125 minimum with max delta of 33 Celsius per minute, confirmed. Descent checklist complete.
Tel Akko
Up
is
next
the
could be
ancient
the climb
mound
checklist.
representing the
ghetto
earliest
fighter's
settlements of the
house.
city,
Full
located
name,
just inland
Itzhak
from the modern
Katzenelson
and
Holocaust
medieval
and
port
Jewish
area.
Resistance
It
Heritage
provides a clear
Museum,
view of the
Documentation
historical layers
and
of the
Study
region.
Center, was
Archaeological
founded in
excavations
1949
have
by
revealed
members of
evidence
Kibbutz
of
Lohmei
occupation
Haggatout,
dating
a
back to the
community of
early
Holocaust
Bronze Age.
survivors,
It was the
among them
primary urban
fighters of the
center
ghetto
region before
undergrounds
the
and
city
partisan
expanded
units.
toward
The
coast
museum
during
is
the
named
Hellenistic
after
period.
Itzhak
Keep a steady
Katzenelson,
altitude to
a
ensure
Jewish
you remain
poet
clear
who
of the
died at
surrounding
Auschwitz.
terrain and
The
urban
museum is
obstacles.
located
Be
in the Western
mindful of the
Galilee,
proximity
Israel,
to the
on the
nearby
coastal
airfield
highway
traffic
between Acre
patterns
and Nahariya.
identify
The
a
Ghetto
large,
Fighter's House
elevated grassy
is the
mound
world's
rising
first
above the
museum
surrounding
commemorating the
agricultural
Holocaust
urban
and Jewish
landscape.
heroism.
Situated
It
just east
represents
of
the
modern
highest
city
expression of
Acre.
its
At your
founders'
current ground
commitment
speed, you
to
will be
Holocaust
abeamed at site in
education
about
in
30
Israel and
seconds.
the
It is
world.
currently
The museum
located at
tells
your
the
1
story
o'clock
of the
position.
Jewish
Use the
people in the
mound as a
20th
visual
century,
waypoint to orient yourself
particularly
before
during
turning
World War
toward the coastal
II and
route
the
or heading
Holocaust.
further inland
At the center
toward
of
the
the
Galilee
narrative is the
Hills.
individual and the many expressions of Jewish resistance in ghettos, concentration camps, and partisan combat. Friends of GFH associations are active in Israel, France, Austria, and the United States.
Perform landing checklist.
Tel Akko. Tel Akko is an ancient mound representing the original site of the city before it moved
Landing
to the
checklist.
coast.
Reading
it is a
aloud.
significant archaeological
Down.
site containing
Flaps.
layers of
Approach or set or
history
down
from
or
the
as
Bronze
required.
Age onwards.
Prop
Excavations
high up
have
EM.
revealed
Set.
that this site was a
Prop
major
synchronizer.
urban
Off or
center
set.
during the Middle Bronze
Lights.
Age
On
and
or
is
set
often
or as required.
associated with biblical
Cabin
and Egyptian
differential
records
zero.
of
Checked.
the region. Avoid
Boost
low-level
pumps. On or
orbiting
set.
directly over the
Landing checklist
excavation
complete.
areas to prevent
Next
dust
checklist
disturbance
would be the
and
climb
ensure
checklist.
safety. Identify a large, elevated grassy mound located slightly inland from the modern city, surrounded by agricultural fields. The site is located to your left front. You will pass it shortly as you continue your current track. Use the mound as a visual waypoint when navigating toward the Akko coastal area from the inland plains.
Touch and go.
Command not recognized. Please try again. So it is.
Goddamn cows.
Command not recognized. Please try again. I see.
Tel Akko. Tel Akko is an ancient mound representing the remains of the original settlement of Akko before it moved to the coast. It is a significant archaeological site for Bronze and Iron Age studies. Excavations at the Tel have revealed layers of occupation dating back to the Middle Bronze Age. It was a major urban center that controlled trade routes between the coast and the inland Galilee. Ensure you maintain sufficient terrain clearance while circling the mound.
Preaching.
Given your current climb rate, you will
Command
gain
not
altitude
recognized.
quickly, providing a
Please
better
try
vantage
again.
point. Identify
right.
a large, flat-topped hill rising above the surrounding agricultural fields and modern urban sprawl. It appears as a distinct, elevated plateau compared to the flat coastal plain. At your current altitude of 95 ft and heading of 29 degrees, the Tel is situated to your left. You will pass abeam the site in approximately 90 seconds. Use the Tel as a visual waypoint to orient yourself before turning toward the inland hills of the Galilee.
Pretty interesting.
Command not recognized. Please try again. Fine by me.
Getting pretty hot on the engines.
Command not recognized. Please try again. What part of the checklist shall we start with?
touch and go on this next one.
Command not recognized. Please try again. Tell me which checklist you'd like to run.
Which third one?
Command not recognized. Please try again. Yes, okay.
I'll revisit that.
Command not recognized. Please try again. Fine. Command not recognized. Please try again. All fine. Command not recognized. Please try again. Noted.
Tel Akko. Tel Akko is an ancient mound representing thousands of years of settlement history near the modern city of Acre. It served as a vital port and administrative center throughout the Bronze and Iron Ages. The site was a major Canaanite city-state and later became
Command
a
not recognized.
significant Phoenician port.
Please try again.
Excavations have
Okay.
revealed layers of occupation dating back to the 3rd millennium BCE, highlighting its strategic importance in Mediterranean trade. Maintain a safe altitude above the mound to avoid disturbing the site and comply with local noise abatement procedures. Look for a prominent, flat-topped artificial hill rising above the surrounding agricultural fields. It is situated just inland from the coastline, distinct from the modern urban sprawl of Acre. At your current heading of 120
Landing
degrees,
checklist.
this site
Reading
will
aloud.
be located to your
Gear
right rear.
down.
You will pass it quickly
Flaps.
at
Approach or set or down
133
or as
kT.
required.
Adjust your viewing angle
high
accordingly.
RPM,
Use
set.
the coastline as your
Prop
primary
synchronizer,
navigation
off or
reference.
set.
The tel is
Lights,
easily
on or
spotted
set or
once
as
you align
required.
the ancient mound with
Cabin
the northern
differential
edge
0,
of the city.
checked. Boost pumps, on or set. Landing checklist complete. Possibly next comes the climb checklist.
Big ash plants. Alright, let's check if I can do the landing correction rally challenge.
Yavapai Point. Yavapai Point is one of the most prominent viewpoints on the South Rim, offering expansive panoramic vistas of the inner canyon. The site is home to the Yavapai Geology Museum, which was constructed in 1928 to provide visitors with an educational perspective on the canyon's complex rock layers. The area is frequently used by tour helicopters. Maintain a vigilant watch for other aircraft in the vicinity. Identify the point by the stone-built museum structure perched directly on the edge of the promontory, jutting out into the canyon. With your current heading of 325 degrees, the Yavapai Point will appear off your left wing as you proceed along the rim. Follow the rim line westward from this point for the most dramatic views of the Bright Angel Canyon. Tusayan. Tusayan is a small gateway community located just outside the south entrance of Grand Canyon National Park. It provides essential services, lodging, and dining for park visitors. The town was incorporated relatively recently to manage the infrastructure needs of the growing tourism industry surrounding the Grand Canyon. It serves as a base for many helicopter and fixed-wing tour operators. Be mindful of noise abatement procedures when flying near residential areas. Ensure you are maintaining a safe altitude above the town to minimize ground disturbance. Identify the town by the cluster of hotels, lodges, and commercial buildings situated along Highway 64. It appears as a distinct developed patch amidst the dense Kaibab National Forest. Tusayan is currently located to your left and slightly behind. Given your ground speed of 733 kT, you will clear the area in seconds. Focus on your forward flight path. Follow the highway corridor north to transition toward the Grand Canyon South Rim. Keep a sharp lookout for other aircraft transitioning through this busy corridor. Tusayan. Tusayan is a small gateway community located just outside the main entrance to the Grand Canyon National Park. The town was developed primarily to support the tourism industry surrounding the park. It serves as a hub for hotels, restaurants, and visitor services. Be mindful of noise abatement procedures over residential areas. Ensure you remain at or above minimum safe altitudes. Identify the cluster of buildings and hotels situated near the intersection of Highway 64 and the Airport Access Road. Given your current position and high speed, Tusayan will pass quickly to your right. You will be above the town in less than a minute. Follow the highway corridor to maintain visual orientation when navigating toward the South Rim. Grand Canyon National Park Airport. This is the primary aviation gateway for visitors to the Grand Canyon, located just south of the park boundary. It serves as a hub for air tours and general aviation traffic. The airport was established to support the growing tourism industry in the region. It has since become one of the busiest general aviation airports in Arizona due to its proximity to the canyon. Maintain strict adherence to local noise abatement procedures and monitor the CTAF closely. Ensure you are aware of your proximity to the ground given your current low altitude. Look for a long, paved runway strip surrounded by high desert scrubland. It is located south of the main canyon rim features. At your current heading of 314 degrees and 782 kt, you will pass the airport area rapidly. It will appear to your left side within seconds. Use the airport as a navigational reference point, but be mindful of the high volume of sightseeing aircraft operating in the vicinity. Lake McDonald. Lake McDonald is the largest lake in Glacier National Park, renowned for its colorful pebbles and crystal-clear waters. It stretches approximately 10 miles long and is over 400 feet deep. The lake was formed by glacial carving during the last Ice Age. It has been a central feature for indigenous tribes and early settlers in the region for centuries. Maintain a safe altitude above the lake surface and be mindful of the surrounding mountainous terrain. Always adhere to local park flight restrictions and minimum safe altitude requirements. Look for a large, elongated body of water nestled in a deep valley, surrounded by dense coniferous forests and steep mountain slopes. At your current heading of 201 degrees and ground speed of 367 kt, you will pass the eastern edge of the lake in approximately 1 minute. The lake will be visible off your right wing. Follow the valley floor for a scenic route, but keep a close watch on your terrain clearance as the peaks rise rapidly.